Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I am Arthur Volpe, your SAT tutor, and today we're going to be doing another tutorial. What do we have on our plate this fine evening? Well, we've got a triangle, and the question is asking us to find the value of cosine of x. So if you're ever doing a trig problem and they're asking to figure out what the cosine of x is equal to, they're asking for you to figure out what the ratio is. So when we're doing cosine and trig functions by extension, we want to write out the actual ratios that correspond to their respective trig functions. So we're going to set this equal to adjacent over hypotenuse. Okay, so the answer choices are literally fractions. So I know for a fact at some point we're going to get here to this juncture. So let's do this. They're telling us the area of the triangle ABC is 225 and the AB is 17. So this is 17. The area is 225. Okay, if they're giving us the area and they want us to find the cosine of x, then that means we have to make a right triangle. Trig functions only apply to right triangles. So let's go ahead, make this, and then let's do the following. Let's make a right angle here to show that we have a right triangle. Okay, so now they give us the area. Okay, so let's use the area formula. Is equal to 225. Only we already know what the base is, which is 30. So that means that we're going to use this equation to solve for the height, which is right here. Makes sense. So the base, let me go ahead and erase this, is 30. 1/2 times 30 is 15. So 15h is equal to 225. Divide both sides by 15. Divide by 15. The square root of 225 is 15. So 225 divided by 15 is 15. So we know that this side right here is 15. Hey, that's lit. We're finished. We know what the height is. We know what the base is. The base is obviously 15, right? So if that's the case, then A should be 15 and H should be 17. So the answer should be D. Simple, right? If you put D, if you followed this without any questioning, you'd be wrong. It's not D. D is the trap answer. And I'm going to show you exactly why it's not D. So look at this little phrase right here. This is really the most important part of the question, in my opinion. This is where they trick you. It says here that this figure is not drawn to scale. So that means that even though we're dividing this triangle into two equal pieces, theoretically, since it's not drawn to scale, this is not actually an equal divisor, if that makes any sense. We're not actually dividing them into equal triangles. So we cannot assume that this base is that each side is 15. We cannot assume that, right? So instead, what we have to do is use the Pythagorean theorem to figure out this side right here, okay? So 17 is the hypotenuse, so 17 squared is equal to 15 squared plus b squared. This is 225. This is 289, I think. Yeah, it's 289. We subtract both sides. Let's bring down the b squared. This goes away. 225, 289. This is going to be equal to 460. So 64 is equal to b squared. If we square root both sides, we get b is equal to 8. So that means that this right here is 8. So when it comes to what they're asking for, in the end, it's cosine of x. Let's just go ahead and input these values into our ratio. And instead of 15 over 17, we really should get 8 over 17. Very quickly, I'm going to show you guys how I know that this is the right answer. Let's say this side is actually 15. If this is 15 and this is 15, then that means that this is a 45, 45, 90 triangle, okay? So if we put it into the Pythagorean theorem, 15 squared plus 15 squared is equal to, hold on, let me just erase this. By the way, the answer is 8 over 17, but watch this. So 15 squared is 225 plus 225 is 450. 17 squared, we already know, is 289. Do you see the massive, glowing, radioactive problem that we have in front of us, my friends? 450 is not equal to 289. So what does that mean? That means that this here ain't no right triangle. And that's how I know that this is the proper answer, because it does follow the rules of the Pythagorean theorem. Make sense? Anyways, this has been a lovely session. Thank you so much for your time, and I hope to see you guys on the next tutorial. Ciao.